Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Asheim. I'm the founder of this company called Guide by Sell. And Anna, you can introduce yourself too.
Yeah, hi, my name is Anna Busby. I have been with the company for about 2 years and I focus mainly on our guide and wayfinding services, and I'm excited to be here.
We are very happy that we have an opportunity to talk with all of you, even though we would prefer it in person, but with this year, I think it's just great that the association is able to put this on virtually and in person. So good for you guys. We have a few new services that have to do with the mapping and cartography industry. And when we mentioned them to the association, they thought, you know what, that could be kind of interesting for your organization. I started the company Guide by Sell, gosh, it's probably about 14, 15 years or so ago, as a way that visitors could get a better experience by using their cell phone when they walk around venues, gardens, parks, nature trails, any place that's providing some kind of interpretation. We've grown under that model to where we have about 4,000 clients, mostly in the US. I should say neither Anna nor myself and we work for about a 20, 25 person company. We are not mapping or cartography experts. You guys are that. We just happen to develop a service on top of our platform that has mapping characteristics that has become really popular. So all of you are the experts. We have just developed something. So that's kind of our disclaimer. We're happy to even be with you folks. We work with very large organizations like New York Botanical Garden and Central Park. We even have some clients that are using our mobile services for text messaging that are not in the outdoor venue. But you can see a little smattering of the types of organizations we work with. And over the years, we've really got a good sense for what do people want to do and use when they're using a phone and they're out and about in a garden or a park or a city walking tour. So hopefully we'll share with you a couple of those ideas today. The interactive visitor solutions, this is a list of about 10 or so that part of our suite, probably all of you that are listening have a whole suite of services. We do too. Everything from smartphone tours to scavenger hunts and polls and surveys and audio guides. The service that we're going to be showing you today, we call it our GPS mapper. It's really a way that people can use our platform for a little better wayfinding. And in a second, we're going to show you how to do that on your phone. Anna, why don't you talk a little bit about some of these challenges?
Sure. So our clients were really seeking a simple solution that involved a little to no IT and was extremely user-friendly, not only for their visitors or their users, but for their administrators, and something that they would have the capability for themselves to control. A big topic that kept coming up was ownership over their own content, which essentially means if you're outsourcing to maybe a native app on a phone or another company that is in charge of building out the entire IT and all of the content that goes on there, you aren't in control of what your user's seeing, and you certainly can't update it the moment it needs to be updated. It could have incorrect information. It could have the wrong placement of something. You maybe added a new site or a new building that isn't there, and sometimes it can be difficult to get in touch with them to update that information. So it was super important for them to have something that they have their own ownership over. Mm-hmm. And especially during COVID, they wanted to cut down on physical maps that could be reused by multiple people. It was a big concern. And it doesn't hurt that a mobile solution is the greener option and saves on printing costs. And then, of course, wayfinding was something else that was big. We use blue dot technology through Google Maps, which I'm sure you're familiar with. It's the blue dot that represents your location, it sort of moves along with you as you move through the map.
So many of our clients said they have maps outside, maybe in little acrylic map holders. People would come in, take the map, look at it, fold it, put it in their pocket. Then they would go right to Google Map, which is not showing where the restrooms are or the parking or the interesting information about that monument or that tree, and get a little frustrated. And so it's just been so interesting working with all of these clients that are saying, wow, if I can mirror what Google's doing by using my own map, that would be terrific. So that's what we've tried to accomplish. These clients have wanted to really build content using a platform where we've been providing a smartphone platform for years and years. So we just took that aspect of our service. Google, of course, makes it easy to do some wayfinding. And then, of course, we built some social media and some sharing aspects of it. And we figured out a way to mirror your map, your, let's say, PDF or your printed map on top of a Google map. And Anna will show you that in just a second.
Yeah. So sort of like Dave was saying, our solution is extremely easy to update on the fly and pretty simple when you think about it. It's just using Google Maps, but making it your own and providing your own relative or relevant resources along with that. Mm-hmm. So the way that it works is you can sort of personalize Google Maps in 3 ways: with an overlay, with some push pins, or with some CSS coding, which the overlay and the push pins are laid out by latitude and longitude, and you can manipulate those after laying them to get them in the perfect spot. And the CSS coding is essentially taking what Google Maps is giving you and maybe changing the colors, hiding some certain pins that wouldn't be relevant to your users, and then adding the push points on top of that to show the points of interest that you want your users to see. And as Dave touched on, those push points can have any type of content, whether that be text, multimedia, meaning video, audio, photos. With our platform, you can provide quizzes, polls, and surveys and comment boards for further engagement. And they can also invite or contain links that might take you to a different site or to a different page using our platform.
That's right. So the client said to us, we've got to have a fast way for people to access these maps. So we thought, well, QR codes are much more fashionable and user-friendly today than they've ever been. Something like 60-70% of Americans now are familiar with and okay with using QR codes, and that number is increasing. So we provide a texting way to get a link or a QR code. And then, like you saw on that earlier slide, we're finding that organizations want to use either little push pins or little icons, and Anna will show you the different ways to do that, and drop them wherever they want on that map. And then we've got this great CMS that doesn't require really hardly any training and no IT to add all kinds of content. So I could tap that icon and up pops a video, or up pops a PDF or some photos. And then, of course, what people want is they want a way to see real-time stats. How many people came to the site today? What was their general path? What items did they tap? And so all of that, because this is a cloud-based system, it's pretty easy to get those. So those are really our answers to our clients saying, hey, what can you do for us in creating kind of an interactive map? You'll see these are just some quotes we got from the Missouri Botanical Garden. I love that people call this an app. As we mentioned, it's really not an app because it's not something that you download, but I think anything that looks and feels kind of like an app, people view it and call it an app. They love I like this comment on the bottom left about deciding which way we want to go. I think with an awful lot of outdoor venues, these are big venues. Here's a nature trail. Do I want to go this way or that way? It's very hard to decide to do that, which way to go, unless you have somebody helping you. But when you've got this GPS map, it's pretty easy to go tap and see exactly where you are and which direction you want to go. So we will share with all of you that are interested in other kinds of testimonials. But in general, our clients are saying things like this. All right, Anna.
So we've talked a lot about cultural venues, but GPS wayfinding can be used for really any type of institution. We've talked to a lot of universities who maybe need help guiding new students or parents around the campus and adding points of interest. We've talked to city departments who want an entire map regarding maybe different parks in the city, or maybe they're throwing a festival. They want to add some more information about that. They want to add historical buildings for tourists. So it's really any type of organization could utilize this that has any type of larger venue, or even a conference has utilized our GPS mapper to show the hotel, where the conference is, provide more information around the city, maybe about good places to eat, and things like that.
We've just started receiving some inquiries from organizations that are doing some demographic partitioning. So I wouldn't necessarily limit, when you think about our platform, to just walking around. It could be to try to analyze data. How easy would it be just to drop a push pin, add some content, some photos, some graphs, some PDFs to that content? All the push pins, all the little uploaded icons can be different colors and represent different things. And there can be a little legend on the left-hand side. So my point is we're starting to get some inquiries that are not necessarily tour related, probably a little bit more in the framework of the types of clients that you all work with. All right.
So we have a fabulous client, Cincinnati Nature Center, who had phenomenal success and did a great job at their build out and their rollout. You can see here, their survey showed 80% of their users prefer using self-guided tours like our map, as opposed to maybe a tour guide or just a piece of paper that really doesn't have as much information as they'd like and doesn't provide help with wayfinding at all. And in their first 2 months, over 3,900 unique users logged in to their map, and they had over 40,000 plus page views.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
That's a lot. So as we mentioned earlier, there's 2 ways that you could access this map. You can text in the words demo space NACIS, short code 56512, or you can use your phone and just scan the QR code.
Let's give everybody 30 seconds or 60 seconds. Anna, for those people that have not scanned lately, what do they do to scan that QR code on their phone?
You just open up your camera, hover it over, and then you'll get a little pop-up at the top. You tap on the pop-up and it takes you directly to the site.
And when you do that, in fact, I'm going to do it now just to show all of you that may not have your phone handy. All of a sudden, I get the little tap and I get the little pop-up and I get this welcome to the Row Woods. And Anna, you're going to take us on a little docent-led journey here of Cincinnati Nature's app. All right, so let's show you what is next.
Let me share my phone screen. One sec.
And of course, this link could have been emailed to somebody. It could be a link that people just type in. But texting in or scanning a QR code just seems to be the fast way to do this.
Perfect. And if you did text in, you would have received this message back. You just tap the link and it takes you straight to their site. So obviously I am not at Row Woods at the moment, so I'm not going to use my location. And then they use this little splash screen to sort of guide users through the map. It lets you know to turn your location services on if you're on site. It lets you know that your battery might deplete a little bit faster. And a lot of this was based on the feedback they got from users. You know, what disclaimers do you wish you had? What would have made it easier for you? So if you just press this top button here, you'll see, the first thing you see is that blue dot.
And
because
Anna,
I'm not there.
Anna, can you go back to that slide? It's there's a little X in the top. So if you click that, yeah, right there, everybody, that top, that right to the right and to the right of the Cincinnati Nature Center, you may have to, I know I had to click that little X to load the map on my phone. All right, yeah. So go ahead and do that, everybody. Great.
And then you are brought to the blue dot, which is currently just placed in the middle of their overlay. And because I'm not there, it's not going to follow me around, but should I be on site, it would follow me to whatever trails or points of interest I would be at. And if you zoom all the way out, you'll see the route they chose to go was a map overlay, and they hid Google Maps around it. So if Google Maps was turned on, you'd be able to see, regular old Google Maps type of branding around this layout. But to avoid confusion and sort of keep people on site, they hid that and then placed their overlay using latitude and longitude. And then if you zoom in here, you'll see all their great points of interest. And then on this left-hand side, you'll notice a legend that if you click on a type of category, it only shows you the push points in that categories. So for example, I just clicked points of interest. I can click right here. They have a little video on the algae wheel. They have some text here on Matt's Pond. They have a few other points of interest that just give you a little bit more insight on what they're for.
And these pop-ups, Anna, this could be demographic information. It could be a table. It could be tap something to load a PDF. So it doesn't have to be education or trail related. It could be any data, any content you want.
Yeah, I was going to point out they do something great because they can, with our site, update at any point. If they have, let me refresh my map. If they have any type of trail closure, they can add a push point right here that would let the users know when they're on site to avoid that trail. And it just makes it a whole lot easier because with them and their use case, wayfinding is extremely important. So it's great for them to be able to update that on the fly.
Especially like at festivals or big fairs or big football games or big events, big outdoor concerts. This kind of tool can be so handy because they can update this just like Anna just showed on the fly.
Yeah, and I think it's great for logistics. If you just tap parking, it shows you where the parking lots are. Every time I go to a park, it's very stressful for me to find parking and find my way back to the car. Restrooms, you can just click that and see the restrooms only, or go back to all and see a little bit of everything.
Now, these little icons, Anna, are different than those push pins. What's the recommendation on how an organization wants to decide how to brand this?
I would say, so for Cincinnati Nature in specific, they do have a graphic designer on site that helped them out with this. But all these are SVG or PNG icons. And you can literally Google online SVG icon, and there's, millions of options, millions of different colors. A lot of them look like, your average parking sign, but that is a great option if you want something that doesn't involve a designer's help and you can just do it yourself. You could also just do, several of our clients only have something that looks like you would drop a pin in Google Maps. It's that red icon. You could just have the entire map itself be that to simplify it as well.
Great.
I will stop sharing that phone. I will go back to.
I would love to ask if there are any questions, but since this was recorded before the conference, we wouldn't be able to respond. But you may have some questions right now. And at the end, here we are. You can email us, you can call us. We would love to do a demo for you, brainstorm with you. We are not here to try to sell anything. If any of you think that this technology could be interesting, would like to try to expand it, Ann and I are open to any of your ideas about how this can improve the wayfinding or the analysis of information. And that's why we built this. It's not a very expensive solution. It's a solution that can be turned on in a matter of a day or so. Don't you think, Anna, by that time,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
templates are up? Yeah.
Yeah. And people use it in such different ways. Every use case is a little bit different. We learn something new from talking to everyone. So.
We've had quite a few internal venues come to us. Maybe talk about some of the challenges with using this internally.
Because it's the blue dot technology through Google Maps, if you may have spotty Wi-Fi or reception, or it's a building that's surrounded by a ton of other buildings, the blue dot technology can be slightly off. But even with those situations, having an interactive map that might have arrows through aisles or points, obviously points of interest are a super important part of our GPS mapper, still provides a better user experience than maybe just a sign that you can't update on the fly. It's just sitting there. It has barely any information. So we have run into those challenges, but most of the time there are
there's some nice workarounds. That's right. Well, I think that is what we wanted to share with you today. This ability to bring content into somebody's hands. I scan a QR code, I see an icon, I tap it. There's more information about that icon, and I can see where my little blue dot is. And if I want to walk over there or drive someplace, I'll know how to get there using Google's interface. So we are, as I said, welcoming any inquiries about this technology, how we could improve it, how you might want to use it. We would just love to hear from any of you. We are, as we said, not cartography experts in any sense of the word, but we think we found something here that is a bit off the shelf, that's pretty fast to implement and not expensive. So Anna is our project manager. I'm the founder, but available anytime by our cell phones, which we've got right here. So thank you for inviting us, and we hope to hear from you sometime this month.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.